Hey there, it's Kath Langman here from Productpreneur Marketing, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 12 trends that are working right now when it comes to e-commerce. Now, of course, in the last 18 months, e-commerce as a business model, or e-commerce shopping generally, e-commerce retail has really grown at an enormous rate. Us consumers have been put in a position where, by and large, we have to do as much of our shopping online as humanly possible. And of course, for the e-commerce businesses operating in this space, that has added an enormous amount more competition, because we have a lot of new stores coming to the e-commerce market, and we now have to stand out from a much bigger crowd to appeal to our audience. And then from a customer perspective, of course, we need to be doing things a little differently and doing some things better than maybe we had to in the past in order to win and keep our customers. So I want to talk through 12 trends or 12 strategies that are really working right now when it comes to your e-commerce business, and just hopefully help you to improve your game a little bit, stand out from the crowd, stand out from your competitors, and hopefully be in a position where you can be winning more new customers and retaining them for a longer period of time in this fast-growing world that we are now operating in. So the first thing that I want to talk about is VR, virtual reality. The technology that we now have at our fingertips is really amazing. One of the biggest problems when it comes to customers being able to buy online is, of course, that they can't try it first. And this is really where VR has made some amazing inroads and enabled us to provide that kind of experience to our customers. I think even if you don't really think you know what virtual reality is or how you could use it in your business, we all use it every day on Instagram, for instance, or Snapchat. Little kids know exactly how to use it because they can pull up a filter and have some fun and games. But using VR in your online store is really, really possible. There are apps and filters that you can add in there that will essentially help your customers to try something before they buy it, so that they can have a higher chance of actually choosing the right thing in the first place. An example being our client Baby Aiders Australia, who have recently been working on implementing the ability it's like a filter that enables the kids to try on the various styles of sunglasses first so that they can choose the right option. So that's a really cool trend, and definitely something that you can probably apply to a number of different sorts of products, and I would encourage you to have a look into that one. These are in no particular order. So the next one I want to mention is user-generated content, in particular video. And so I have spoken quite a lot in recent times about getting your customers, your best customers, your most avid fans to just get a little bit involved in creating some content for you, whether it's like a video testimonial, or whether it's like an unboxing video or a product demo video, or whatever the case may be. But user-generated content is hugely powerful when it comes to your marketing. So it's not just about filling in the gaps because you haven't got any new content to share. It's actually really, really powerful content because it is your customers recommending you, not you talking about yourself. So in terms of the trustworthy nature of that kind of content, it has a much higher trust value with your audience than a brand talking about themselves. Now, of course, that's not to say that you wouldn't still do your own advertising or send your own marketing emails or all of that kind of stuff. Of course, you would still do that. But when you can use content like that your most raving fans are happy to share for you, it's going to hit the mark and be a lot more effective at converting more people into customers. And that's what we all want at the end of the day. Next thing I want to mention is including multiple payment options on your online store. There seems to be a plethora of new payment options coming up on the market. especially over the last year. I'm sure that trend's going to continue. Here in Australia, obviously Afterpay was the really big buy now, pay later platform. Looks like they're being acquired by Square, so that, you know, that's going to be an international option, very, you know, if it's not already. So, but, you know, not that you have to just stick to the big guns, whether it's, you know, Stripe or credit card processing, PayPal, Afterpay, but, you know, include a few different payment options. You don't want a whole list. You don't want to offer people so much choice that they're just like, oh, I can't make this decision, it's too hard. But give a number of common options there so that people can, you know, you're just making it easy for people to get through the checkout. I know for me personally, I very rarely end up getting off my lazy bum to go and find my credit card. If I'm shopping online, I can't remember the number of it. So I'll either use PayPal or Afterpay because I can remember the logins for those. So, you know, if you have a few different options, you will see your conversion rate go up. I've told a story recently where I went shopping online and I actually found a website that the only payment method they took was cryptocurrency. And needless to say, at the time, I didn't have any cryptocurrency, and so I was not shopping from them. But, you know, the point to take away from it really is that if you only have one or two payment methods, you will be losing out on sales. So and that's an easy one to fix. So there you go. Next one is sustainability, and following sustainable practices in running your business is vastly more important to customers now than it was even in recent years. So, you know, fortunately these days there are a lot of options in terms of packaging and, you know, shipping satchels and things like that that are available to us and not cost prohibitive either. So if you haven't already started looking into this in your business, then now is definitely the time. There is a big swing in the consumer base for people. You know, they're spending their dollars according to their brand, to their personal values. And so, you know, again, that's an easy one to fix. And I think that we should all be trying to move towards that if we haven't already. The next thing that I want to talk about really isn't so much about a strategy per se or a trend per se, but it's really just the ability to read the room, right? There's been, you know, so much of the world is living through difficult times at the moment, and it seems to be, I mean, at least here in Australia, we're like playing tag team between which state is in lockdown, and it is super tough. But there are, you know, it's something that I think that e-commerce business owners need to really remember and take on board is that we have the ability to be the connection between people who are staying at home and you know, unable to go to the shops or go to work or to spend time physically with their families. You know, we have the ability, we have this special place in the world right now where we can provide and facilitate a lot of connection, as well as being able to provide all of the essentials that people need to be able to live at home. But it's not only the physical products that we're sending out either. You know, it's these engaging communities and I'll talk about that as well in a minute. But, you know, we are part of the digital world as well now. And so for people who are, you know, maybe having a long time stuck at home through lockdown and homeschooling and all of that kind of stuff, you know, if we can, you know, just add some value and be that human touch, I guess, you know, it's really going to help our audience and our customer base through this difficult time. But additionally, you know, just when it comes to your marketing, you also want to be reading the room there as well. And so I've seen some of our clients and some brands that I follow do an amazing job of this. You know, they've been able to perhaps get in some new and different products that are the things that their customer base really need and want right now. You know, whether it's like puzzles, because that's what you can do at home and keep the kids entertained or something. Or, you know, putting together gift boxes for people, like lockdown gift boxes. I mean, I've been sending those out. And, you know, so there's ways that you can look at your customer base and think, what do they really need and want right now, and reading the room in terms of what offers that you're putting out, what marketing messages that you're putting out, and how else that you can feasibly add value to support your customer base. So I think that that's a really important thing that we can take on board as e-commerce business owners at the moment. Back to some practical ideas here. Really, the thing that can facilitate or bottleneck your growth, you can be one or the other, or it really is both, is your fulfillment efficiencies. So, if there's one thing that all of us have learnt the hard way as a consumer as well as a business owner, is that because of the vast number of people moving towards shopping online, it has also added to the shipping times, the delivery times. And so for the businesses that have really been able to put in place fulfillment efficiencies, they can be very efficiently picking and packing orders. They have, good relationships with their couriers and other shipping providers. Really, if you can get your orders out to your customers as efficiently as possible, you're going to make them really, really happy. And that is going to be one really big positive tick in their minds that will keep them wanting to come back to shop from you, as opposed to somebody else who maybe isn't quite as efficient. So now, this is not me having a go at any small businesses that are still trying to get off the ground or figure this stuff out. It's just, I guess, something that's really important to focus on. If you do really want to grow your business, then this is going to be your growth bottleneck. And if you can really, focus on not fixing it, but really getting some good practices and processes in place in the fulfillment end of your business, you will be, enjoy the fruits of that effort for sure. All right, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is not going to be a surprise to many of you, and that is email marketing. I have to say, I got into the e-commerce marketing game actually back at the end of 1999, and I've been working either in my own businesses or for other people's businesses in sort of the e-commerce and digital marketing space ever since. And I remember when email marketing became a thing. Like when I first started in marketing, we used to do fax marketing, and we used to send lots and lots of physical mailers out to people's actual letterboxes. Those were the exciting times. So I remember when email marketing came in, but I have to say, I don't think email marketing has ever been as important or as influential in marketing as it is now. And a big part of the reason for this is that this year, the Apple iOS update happened, but all platforms have really been tightening up the privacy of their platform users. And so the amount of data available to marketers to be able to use pixel tracked data in their marketing has really reduced. And so the onus on the business owner has been on first party data. And that means you need to be building your own database of contacts. So that's subscribers, people who are interested in your business or your brand, as well as customers. And being able to collect that data, it's not just getting an email list, it's also collecting all of their, their browsing behavior, all of their shopping preferences, frequency, the products bought, all of this kind of stuff. If you have the right email platform, you can collect all of this information. It is not just about the email address. Let me say that again, all right? Email marketing is, yes, it's about being able to build an email list and to send emails to that list, but even more so than that, it is about collecting all of this first-party data from their browsing behavior. What are they looking at? What are they buying? How frequently are they buying? How much do they normally spend? All of this good stuff, right? You can collect that because it's your own data. People are taking those actions on your own website, and you can store that information in a email platform like Klaviyo and use it, in your marketing. It becomes so powerful. So if you are not already on Klaviyo, I can't say enough about it, to recommend that if you're in an e-commerce business, you really need to be using that platform for your email marketing. But the next point on from there, just the importance of building that database and using first party data. Next from there is email automation. This again is becoming more and more of an important function in a successful, profitable business. Automated emails, essentially you're able to use that data that you are collecting because it's that first party data. You're collecting all of that browsing behavior, the shopping behavior, all of this kind of stuff. You can send personalized messages to your customers, and the fact that they are personalized to your customers in terms of what they're interested in right now, where are they at in their buyer cycle, what in terms of when they are likely to purchase next. You can automate so much of this, and it is vastly more effective than your broadcast style emails. That's not to say you don't do broadcast style emails, you do, but if you want to really make the most of that database that you are building and get the higher return on investment on your marketing, then you really want to be utilizing email automation to its fullest extent. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is artificial intelligence. And in fact, this actually does tie in with Klaviyo as well. So artificial intelligence, again, we actually all utilize this on a daily basis with our, the social media that we use, and lots of the apps that we use uses artificial intelligence to be able to improve our user experience. But we can actually do this as well with our Klaviyo account. So as you get used to using Klaviyo and you start to get a lot of data in it, you can, and obviously you're going to have Klaviyo integrated with your shopping cart. So we're not just collecting the email data here, we're also collecting their shopping behavior and browsing behavior and frequency and all of that stuff, as I was just mentioning. Klaviyo can then use artificial intelligence to be predictive in its nature. And of course, if we can, start using predictive analysis and, send offers and, content and all of that kind of stuff, because the system can predict when our customers are going to want and need that. I mean, how powerful is that? That's amazing. Like, that's going to be way more effective than just, like I said before, sending a broadcast style email to everybody on your list. So artificial intelligence, it really will become more and more influential in our e-commerce marketing, and it is here now, so we can't ignore this stuff. Or we ignore it at our peril and we leave money on the table. The next one that I want to mention is mobile commerce, and just the volume of people who are now shopping on their mobile phone rather than on a larger screened device. I think that we've all, for several years now, we've been hearing the message that our websites need to be mobile responsive. I just can't say, it is just so much more important now than it has been in the past. And really, this has been influenced again by the huge increase in volume of customers buying online on online stores than before COVID, if I dare say the C word. So, if you haven't recently looked at your website and gone through your online store, gone all the way through the checkout on a mobile, please do it. And then I would highly recommend that you find somebody who's not familiar with your website, literally get them on your website on their phone and ask them to go through and shop for something. They might not put their payment details in and complete a purchase, that's fine. But you want to see, literally watching people do that can be very enlightening. You learn so much about your own website. Us as business owners, we're very familiar where everything is on our website. We know exactly where to look for everything and where we're going to find it and how to navigate the site. But if somebody's not familiar with your website, how intuitive is it for them? So go and give somebody that's not familiar with your site the instruction or the request to have a look through your site, do some shopping, and you watch them do it. Don't let them ask questions. You want to get them to do it themselves. But if they are getting stuck and they're struggling to find the thing that you've asked them to pretend to buy, then use that information to improve the user experience of your website on mobile. Next thing that I want to talk about is multi-channel paid amplification. So paid amplification, it's advertising. And in recent times, I think there was a big trend for people to put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. A lot of people were just pretty much advertising on one platform. And, the problem that can happen there, which I think a lot of people have experienced early this year, is that when major changes happen on a platform that you don't own, and let's face it, you only own your website and your own email list, right? So if any other platform that you're using in your marketing makes a major algorithm change, and this happens across all of these platforms, then if you are only advertising on one platform, you are putting yourself at risk for disruptions to your traffic and sales. So the brands that we work with that are experiencing the fastest growth and the most successful traffic and sales conversions are advertising across a number of platforms. Now, when you are a startup, I quite understand and sympathize with the fact that we don't have bottomless pits of money. Our pockets don't, they're not endless. And so we can't just be dropping massive amounts of money on every single channel out there. So it's not about that. It's about judiciously, trying one, getting some traffic and sales happening, and then as you are optimizing that and it's starting to make you money, then you start your efforts on another platform. At the very least, you really ought to be doing Facebook and Google. But beyond that, you can absolutely start advertising on Pinterest and TikTok and Snapchat and whatever else is relevant to your customer base. So, really just bear in mind that you just don't want to put yourself at the risk of only having one source of paid traffic because you will ultimately experience disruption to that at some stage. Unfortunately, unless you actually own those other platforms, you really wouldn't be able to predict when those updates are going to happen and how disruptive they might be. So just mitigate your risk by putting multiple channels in place and getting the combined benefits of that. Last thing I'm going to mention here is about building engaged communities. And so, I think, and this kind of ties in with something that I mentioned earlier, but it's just a stage of the life that we're all in at the moment. We're all spending a lot of our life online and trying to gain connection with other humans online, because so many of us around the world do have restrictions on our movements and, whether we're in lockdown or just restricted. But, so how can we as brand owners contribute to that? And this is not necessarily about just making money, right? This is about having a brand that is meaningful in the world to your customers. Evidence shows that more and more now customers do spend money with businesses and brands that align with their own personal values, and they are looking for engagement with those brands. They want to have some to and fro. They really want to have that authentic relationship with the businesses that they buy from. And so, to be able to contribute in that way, and let me say, as a business owner, you'll find it so much more fulfilling as well, running your business in this way. But, being able to create engaging communities, whether it's a Facebook group or in some other way, you have to be able to do this in a way where you are not just building up a group for the purposes of putting discounts and offers in there to drive sales. It's not about that. It's about, having the engaged community in there. So it's real conversations. And brands that I see doing this exceptionally well include caketotherescue.com.au, and also Smoothie Bombs do a wonderful job of this as well. There's a lot of others as well, but they're just two that I can pluck off the top of my head. Actually, Breast Milk Queen is another one. She was on our podcast very recently and also does an amazing job. And, at the end of the day, yes, the people in these groups are also customers and they do buy from you, but the purpose of the group is about, really building the engagement with your customer base and forming those more authentic relationships. As from a commercial perspective, you will benefit because those those customers and people in those groups, they are more engaged and they are more likely to refer you to their family and friends when the opportunity arises. They are also more likely to become repeat purchasers. And of course, being able to acquire a customer in the first place is the hardest part. If you can keep customers coming back again and again, of course, you are going to be in a much better position when it comes to, ultimately building a profitable business. But just want to leave that with you there, really, because I just feel like, and what I've observed is that the businesses and the brands that are, the most successful right now in the second half of 2021, they are the ones that are focused on, building this kind of an engaged community with their audience. So there you go. Those are some suggestions and some observations, what I'm seeing with our client base, what is working right now in e-commerce, and the trends that are also going to become more and more important as the e-commerce retail boom continues to grow and go completely nuts with so many people around the world buying online. I hope you found that helpful. You can always head to catherinelangman.com if you are looking for more resources or more help with your own marketing, or if you would like to join our community of brand owners and e-commerce retailers. It's a very interactive and vibrant community with people helping each other out a lot. Just head to catherinelangman.com/rockstar and you can join up today for free.